Guys, it's Sophie the Shadow Hunter, and today I'm doing my January 2020 TBR. I'm so excited for the new year and I see these books that I've been wanting to read that I wanted to get to this year, however I didn't. And so January, I always love to start out January with a huge TBR of books I'm really excited about. So please let me know in the comments down below the books you guys plan to read in January and for the whole next year and for February, and let's get started. So the first book I'm excited to read is Rush Facts by Max Mobley, All That's Left to Know About Rock's Greatest Power Trio. As you guys know, Rush is my all-time favorite band, and I have not read this book. These books have come out a lot over the past few years, and they've been so expensive, and I haven't gotten them. And I got this one for really cheap, so I went ahead and picked it up. It says Rush Facts documents the amazing story of the world's greatest Canadian prog rock power trio, from the band's origins in a church basement in Willowdale, Ontario, to their introduction ceremony at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, spanning 40 albums and 10 DVDs, thousands of mesmerizing live shows, and generations of loyal fans. The story of Rush is as epic as the band's music. Rush have been marginalized by the press for decades and misunderstood by a legion of mainstream rock fans and rock glitterati, and yet only the Beatles and the Rolling Stones have earned more gold and platinum records. Few artists, if any, have been as influential as Rush's three virtuosos: bassist, keyboardist, vocalist Geddy Lee, guitarist Alex Lifeson, and drummer lyricist Neil Peart. Rush's central focus has always been the music. As such, Rush Facts studies the evolution of the band's sound from the early days of Zeppelin-esque blues rock to complex synth-laden opuses to their turn of concept album bombast with their critically acclaimed Clockwork Angels. With wit, humor, and authority, music industry veteran and unabashed Rush geek Max Mobley examines the music, gear, personalities, and trials and tribulations of one of rock and roll's truly legendary acts. Featuring live concert photography and images of rare memorabilia, this volume is a must-have for Rush fans. Max Mobley, as a music industry veteran, has been writing about Rush for over a decade, most notably as a columnist for the celebrated Crawdaddy magazine. He lives in Felton, California. So this book sounds great. I can't wait to read it. If you guys have read these books, please let me know what you think about them in the comments down below. Alright, so another biography I have about music, not Rush, but almost as good as Rush. Iron Maiden, 30 Years of the Beast, the complete unauthorized biography by Paul Stenning. I've been wanting to read this book for a while. I'm so excited that I got my hands on it pretty quickly is when I found out about it. There's a couple other Maiden biographies I want to read, but this one sounds great. This is unauthorized, but it still sounds great. It says for over 30 years they produced the most fiendishly appealing heavy metal around, yet Iron Maiden continues to reinvent themselves at every turn, keeping their sound as urgent and exciting as it ever was throughout a quite astonishing career. Over those years, as vocalists came and went, Maiden's attitude towards the metal genre, their ardent respect for their massive fan bases, and no-nonsense, almost non-stop touring mentality, they have earned themselves their prestigious position at the very top table of rock's elite. Iron Maiden, 30 Years of the Beast, the complete unauthorized biography, is the book Maiden fans have been waiting for, charting the rise of the group from humble beginnings in London's East End through countless world tours, hundreds of festival appearances, and classic album after classic album. The story rests only as it reaches their current status as the godfathers of British heavy metal. An accolade not often afforded acts who remain fully functional and vitally important. This work finally lifts the lid on metal's favorite stunts, including first-hand interviews with members past and present, band insiders, touring partners, and all manner of other contributors. Fans will delight in this rare view of their heroes, one that has previously remained unseen. Being unauthorized and thus unsanitized, the book offers something no other has before: a chance to truly enter the world of Steve Harris's Barmy Maiden Army via unprecedented access, author-record revelations, and a level of research never before attempted. This book sounds great. I can't wait to read it. Next, I have another Frederick Bachman book, Us Against You, #1 New York Times bestselling author of A Man Called Oh. This is the second to Beartown, and I actually bought this one first, and so then it took me forever to get Beartown. I finally read Beartown and read that, so I could read this one, and I can't wait to read it. This is called Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. It says, a small community tucked deep in the forest, Beartown is home to tough, hardworking people who don't expect life to be easy or fair. No matter how difficult times get, they've always been able to take pride in their local ice hockey team. So it's a cruel blow when they hear the Beartown ice hockey might soon be disbanded. What makes it worse is that the obvious satisfaction that other former Beartown players who now play for a rival team in the neighboring town of Head taken that fact. As the tension mounts between the two adversaries, a newcomer arrives in Beartown hockey, gets a surprising new coach and a chance at a comeback. Soon, a team starts to take shape around Amat, the fastest player you've ever seen. Benji, the intense lone wolf, always dutiful and eager to please Bobo, and Vidar, are born to be bad troublemaker, but bringing this team together proves to be a challenge. As old bonds are broken, new ones are formed, and the town's enmity with Head grows more and more acute. As the big game approaches, the not-so-innocent pranks and accidents between the communities pile up and their mutual contempt intensifies. By the time the last goal is scored, a resident of Beartown will be dead, and the people of both towns will be forced to wonder if after everything, the game they love can ever return to something as simple as a field of ice, two nets, two teams, us against you. Here is a declaration of love for all the big and small, bright, dark stories that give form and color to our communities. With immense compassion and insight, Frederick Bachman reveals how loyalty, friendship, and kindness can carry a town through its most challenging days. This book sounds great. I can't wait to read it. All right, now for our two history books we have Victor Kempler, I'll Bear Witness, the diary of the Nazi years 1933 to 1941. I have two of his books. I wanted to get all three of them at half-price books during my birthday about, I guess it was at least 2 years ago. And it sounds really great. I can't wait to read it. It says, the publication of Victor Kemper's secret diaries brings to light one of the most extraordinary documents of the Nazi period. In its cool, lucid style and power of observation, and said the New York Times, it is best written and most evocative, most observant record of daily life in the Third Reich. I'll Bear Witness is a work of literature as well as a revelation of the day-to-day horror of the Nazi years. A Dresden Jew, a veteran of World War I, a man of letters and historian of great sophistication, Kempler recognizes the danger of Hitler as early as 1933. His diaries, written in secrecy, provide a vivid account of everyday life in Hitler's Germany. What makes this book so remarkable, aside from its literary distinction, is Kempler's preoccupation with the thoughts and actions of ordinary Germans. Berger, the greengrocer who's giving Kempler's house, anti-Hitlerist but of course pleased at the good exchange, the fishmonger, the baker, the much-visited dentist, all after their thoughts and theories on the progress of the war. Will England hold out? Who listens to Goebbels? How much longer will it last? This symphony of voices is ordered by the brilliant grumbling Kempler, struggling to complete his work on 18th century France while documenting the ever-tightening Nazi grip. He loses first his professorship, and then his car, his phone, his house, even his typewriter, and is forced to move into a Jew's house, the last step before the camps. But his cat to death. Jews may not own pets and suffer countless other indignities. Despite the danger of his diaries would pose if discovered, Kempler sees it as his duty to record events. I continue to write, he notes, in 1941, after a terrifying run-in with the police. This is my heroics. I want to be a witness, precise witness, until the very end. When neighbor remarks that in his isolation, Kempler will not be able to cover the main events of the war, he writes, it is not the big things that are important, but the everyday life of tyranny which may be forgotten. 1,000 mosquito bites are worse than a blow on the head. I observe, I note the mosquito's bites. This book covers the years from 1933 to 1941. Volume 2 from 1941 to 1945 will be published in 1999. This book sounds incredible. I can't wait to read it. Next I have, which I had this probably for about 2 years as well, The Wiesenthal File by Alan Levy. This book sounds really great and I can't wait to read it. Simon Wiesenthal spent 4.5 years in a Nazi concentration camp during World War II. 89 family members and relatives were exterminated, and he himself entered the war as a living skeleton. Almost 50 years later, Wiesenthal remains undauntedly committed to the cause of justice for the Jewish people and to the pursuit of Nazi war criminals. The cases he has pursued are many. He has even brought 1,100 Nazis to trial, and his name has frequently hit world headlines in connection with such figures as Olaf Eichmann, Franz Strangl, Joseph Mengele, and Kurt Waldheim. Of his enormous personal courage, there is no doubt, but so long after the war, is Wiesenthal's work still important? Does it still have meaning? Is he making a positive contribution to the post-Holocaust Judaism? Wiesenthal's answer is resolute. We live in a modern world. We know there is pollution. The air is bad, the water is bad, the skies are dirty. But there is another sort of pollution that people ignore. In many countries, people are living between murders, and that is the biggest pollution of all. This book by internationally known author and journalist Alan Levy, an acquaintance with Wiesenthal for many years, is the first critical examination of Wiesenthal's life and work. The story of Wiesenthal's pursuit of war criminals and other detailed in Wiesenthal's own words offers reading and exciting as any thriller, but the Wiesenthal File is much more than that. It is an examination by an independent-minded Jew of the work of one of the greatest Jewish figures in our century. This book sounds great. I can't wait to read it. That is a huge mouthful. I've got so many big books that I'm so excited to read this year and in January. I hope you guys like this video. If you haven't, go and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time in our video. Goodbye.